Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point, AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. The program is Focal Point. The network is AFR Talk. Number to call if you want to join the program, 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840. Talk about anything that we've talked about in this hour, including the impact of a Barack Obama reelection on the economy, the consequences of voting for Barack Obama, putting him back in office with another 4 years, and the consequences of putting Governor Romney in office. How you see that breaking down. What do you think is going to happen over the next 4 years if President Obama is reelected? What do you think is going to happen if Governor Romney is put in office instead? What do you think about the growing, what I consider to be the growing menace of Islam in America? And I want to be very clear. I got nothing against Muslims as people. I'm not anti-Muslim. I am anti-Islam. The problem is not with the people. It's with their religion. It's with their ideology. That's where the problem resides, is with the religion of Islam. That's what needs to be stopped. And if they're not willing to let go of that religion, then I think we have to be clear-headed enough to say, look, I just don't think there's a place for you in this country. We have a cultural fabric. We have certain values that this country was built on. We've nurtured those. We've shaped those values. We've shared those values. We've inculcated those values into every succeeding generation. Your values simply are not consistent with those values. Your values will erode the value system that's made America what it is. We cannot afford to commit cultural suicide by allowing that kind of totalitarian ideology to take root in America. Now, speaking of Islam, at 888 again, that number is 888-589-8840. Here is Barack Obama talking about the Muslim world, and you'll listen to him, and there's a slip of the tongue here where he's talking about the Islamic world, and he almost says, he wants to say freedom of religion, and he catches himself because he knows that there is no freedom of religion in Islam. Let's listen.
And as offensive as this video was, and obviously we've denounced it, and the United States government had nothing to do with it. That's never an excuse for violence. And in this part of the region, as they emerge into a new form of government, part of what they're going to have to do is to recognize that democracy is not just casting a ballot. It's respecting freedom of speech and tolerating people with different points of view, and it means that you've got to make sure that you never have any excuses for the kind of violence against innocents that we saw over the last week.
So President Obama catches himself before he uses the phrase freedom of religion to describe Islam, because he knows that'll never happen in the Muslim world. That was an appearance on the David Letterman program. Now, this is just a little palate cleanser. Here's a little girl by the name of Abby. And apparently she had been riding in the car with her mom, and her mom listens to a lot of NPR. So NPR has been all about the election for the last month. And so her 4-year-old girl, Abby is her name, been driving around with her mom, going back and forth, running errands and stuff, listening to NPR talk about the election. And here is Abby. She has had it up to here, like most of us have, with this election. Let's listen.
Just because I'm tired of Barack Obama and Mitt Romney.
That's why you're crying? Oh, it'll be over soon, Abby. Okay? The election will be over soon, okay?
Okay.
Oh.
She says, I'm tired of Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. So she's just had it up to here with Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, wants the whole thing to be over. I think all of us will second that emotion. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jack in Brinkley, Arkansas. Jack, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
I had a question about the way the country is headed, and I wanted to ask, do you think like Christians will be persecuted, for what they believe in, as far as like being killed or whatever, if we don't get back on the right track?
All right, Jack. Well, listen, I appreciate your call. Jack asking about whether Christians will be persecuted. The reality is, Jack, they already are. I mean, the list is enormously long. Tufts University, this is just something that's in the news right now. There's a Christian group at Tufts University. They want their leadership to be committed to the basic principles of Christianity, And the university said, no, you cannot exist as a student group on this campus if that's what you believe. That's discriminatory. That's exclusive. We're all about diversity here. The atheists can have atheists running their groups. The Muslims can have Muslims running their group. The Jews can have Jews running their student group. But you as Christians, you cannot restrict your leadership to people that share your deeply held values. That is religious persecution. We've had bed and breakfast owners in more than one state now have been taken to court by homosexual activists because these bed and breakfast owners would not rent out their facilities for wedding receptions because they believe that marriage is one man and one woman. And these bed and breakfast owners have gotten into trouble with the law. That's persecution. We have a Christian photographer in New Mexico was asked to film a lesbian commitment ceremony. Lesbian relationships have no status in New Mexico whatsoever. She politely declined because she believes marriage is one man, one woman. They complained to the Civil Rights Commission in New Mexico. She got fined $7,000, and a state court in New Mexico upheld that finding. That's persecution. Two students come to my mind. A student named Ms. Keaton down in Augusta State University, Julia Ward, Eastern Michigan University. They were in graduate programs in counseling, and they were kicked out of the program. Both of them were kicked out of school, and this is their career now. They were training for a career path to become counselors. They were kicked out of the program because they said, in good conscience, I cannot counsel a homosexual client to help them be comfortable with their homosexuality. I'm happy to refer. I believe I should refer. I think it would be improper for me to help somebody when I think what they want me to do goes against the grain of my values. How could I be of maximum help to them? That would be malpractice. So I'm happy to refer. They didn't say, look, I don't want these people to get help. They said, look, I don't think I'm the best person for this. And this is their professional responsibility to do that. Any counselor has a professional, ethical duty to his clients to make sure that they get help that they're looking for. And if they're not in the best position to do it because of a conflict of values, then they've got a responsibility to refer. Both these women are willing to do it. The universities, Augusta State, Eastern Michigan, said, not enough. You're out of here. So Christians are, in fact, being persecuted right now as we speak. And that's just the beginning of the list. Let's go to Robert in Baltese, North Carolina. Robert, you're on Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Mr. Fisher, my name is Robert Spivak.
Yes, sir.
I'm what you would call a Messianic Israelite.
Uh-huh.
I was born in Brooklyn. My parents were nominal Jews. We celebrated Passover, Yom Kippur, because my grandfather did, and he was a refugee from Russia at the time because Russia was holding pogroms, and he was given a choice, like in Fiddler on the Roof, you either get out or you get 6 feet of ground.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, there's several things we have to realize. One, God predicted this in the Bible because he said Ishmael, or his people, would hold his hand against the world till the end of times.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, God never set up for two religions. He set up one religion. Now, you got to realize one thing. In the Quran, Muslims learn they can lie, they should lie for any truth to Muslims. The thing is to lie to accomplish their goal.
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama lied through his teeth in the 2008 campaign. I would say he's a white racist because 20 years in Jeremiah's Rights Church, you know what he preached, and they haven't brought that up even in this campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Not much.
Yeah.
Now, the second thing, as far as campaigning goes, and when he's president, he forced through the Obamacare and the stimulus packages, and I think he has done some real dirty politics.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that he didn't do a thing before he was president. He's done everything against the Constitution now.
All right, Robert, listen, I appreciate your call. And Robert, talking about the fact that there is a doctrine in Islam called taqiyya, which allows you to lie if it will advance the cause of Islam. And Robert correctly observing that this conflict between the Jews and Arabs goes all the way back to the days of Abraham, Sarah and Hagar. Hagar was the mother of Ishmael, and this was the prophecy that the angel of the Lord spoke to Hagar about her son Ishmael, who was the brother, the half-brother of Isaac, and became the father of the Arab people. He shall be a wild donkey of a man, his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will dwell over against all of his kinsmen. So an indication of this abiding hostility between the descendants of Ishmael, the Arab people, and the descendants of Isaac, the people of the Jews. We'll be back with more after the news. Stay with us. Dimitri, Joyce, Joan, if you all can hang on, we'll take you coming right out of the news. Coming out of the break, you are listening to Focal Point on AFR Talk. And speaking of racism, a longtime African-American civil rights advocate, Reverend Joseph Lowry, he prayed the benediction at President Obama's inauguration. He said at an African-American event that all white folks are going to hell. That's what he said. He said when he was a young militant, he used to say all white folks were going to hell. Then I mellowed out and just said most of them were. Now I am back to where I was. All white folks are going to hell. Now he's out there trying to say, hey, I was just joking. Doesn't sound that funny to me. Focal Point, AFR Talk, back after the news.
American Family Radio, AFR Talk.
Hurricane Sandy is